Hello, wonderful people of the great World Wide Web. Welcome to the first episode of Season 4. In this and the following episodes, you can follow my ride from Zagreb, Croatia, all the way to Nordkapp and back. I am traveling on a budget, and as usual, no real plans. Just a general direction and the final destination. Not taking the shortest route either, but exploring the Baltics and Scandinavia along the way. Unpaved roads, parts of the TET, wild camping, and whatever the road throws at me. So, without further ado, let's see what's next. Right from the start, my signature move, starting late. But this time, I broke my own record. Planned departure, 9 or 10 in the morning. Actual departure, sometime after 3 in the afternoon. From Zagreb to the Lithuanian border is about 1,300 kilometers. And I basically teleported my way there. Through Slovenia, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Hungary and Poland. Shortest route according to Google, but no highways. I only stopped for fuel, food, coffee, and to sleep. 3 nights in total before reaching Lithuania. And on my last night in Poland, in Łomża, after a long day on the road, I was too tired to pitch the tent, and that's how I caught my first glimpse of midnight dusk. Day 4 on the road, counting the start day, even with that late afternoon departure, I reached the Lithuanian border. The beauty of the Lithuanian landscape hit me right away. Those small, gentle hills and lakes. This is pretty much how I always imagined the Shire from The Lord of the Rings. My first stop was small town of Miroslavas, where I stayed for 2 nights. At a nearby store, I grabbed some food and of course a local beer. After my Balkan trip last year, that became a bit of a tradition, ending the day with a beer when everything goes well. Funny thing is, when I'm home, I don't even drink beer. And before going to bed, I enjoyed the late evening sunset. The next day, I was eager to get some dirt under my wheels, or dust in this case, and of course to try the local specialty, beetroot soup. And it was really good. Good thing I didn't Google what beetroot actually is before ordering, because it's the only vegetable I really don't like. Only after I finished the meal, I checked and yeah, to my surprise, turns out I just ate beetroot and actually enjoyed it. I spent the day exploring and riding the roads of Meteliai Regional Park. That's actually why I chose to stay in the nearby Miroslavas. Besides nature and wildlife, the park is also home to Papėčiai Mound, an ancient hill fort dating back to the first millennium, where a defensive settlement once stood. From the top, you can see all 3 lakes of the region, and like many places here, it also comes with its own legend. A local I met there told me if I ever find a chain sticking out of the hill, don't touch it. It might pull you into underground. the next day, I headed east, exploring a bit of Rūdninkai forest before continuing to Asveja or Asveja Regional Park. After riding around Asveja Regional Park, I ended the day at a nice campsite nearby. Sadly, my GoPro had other plans and decided the rest of the footage from that day wasn't worth keeping. For this day, I had few places I wanted to visit in mind, but let's first check out some local dirt roads. I don't think I have ever seen so many storks in one place. And I made it to the first place I wanted to visit, an abandoned ex-Soviet military complex near Nemenčine, where you can experience life under Soviet rule through an interactive theater. Sadly, no one was there, but check the link in the description, it's a really interesting project. I continued to my next stop, Puntukas, the second largest boulder in Lithuania. Couldn't resist stopping to check out those old trucks in Meteliai. And here it is, Puntukas, the second largest boulder in Lithuania. The engravings you see are quotes from the last wills of Lithuanian pilots Stefanos Darius and Stasys Girienas, who died in 1933 attempting a non-stop transatlantic flight with their plane Lituanica. I made it to Šiauliai, where I stayed in a nice affordable hotel. Since the parking was right next to the road with no fence, they let me stash the bike in the backyard overnight, even though it's technically part of a nearby factory. A new day, new places to explore. First up, Kryžių Kalnas, the Hill of Crosses. Luckily, the night before in Šiauliai, I backed up my recordings, and that's when I realized my GoPro had been bugged for the last 2 days, barely recording anything. A factory reset and formatting the SD cards hopefully fixed it. After visiting Puntukas, the second largest boulder in Lithuania, I just had to see the largest one in Puokė. But Google and I didn't quite get along, so I ended up here instead. Not that I minded, it was an interesting ride and a place to visit. If I got it right, this is an old cemetery with a chapel. After Google and I finally got along, I found my way to the Barstyčiai, or Puokė Stone, the largest boulder in Lithuania. And I have to admit, coming from Croatia where rocks and mountains are everywhere, I was surprised why boulders are such a big deal here. But after riding through Lithuania and noticing how few stones there are, I looked into a bit and it all made sense. Legend says a pagan temple once stood here with a maiden living in it. When she broke her vows and angered the god Perkūnas, he struck the temple with lightning and stone, burning it down and leaving the stone behind. Stop the Cold War Museum in Žemaitija National Park. But before getting there, I had a bit of fun in a sandpit I didn't notice in time, and ended up getting close and personal with Lithuanian sand. Still better than with boulders. Luckily, nothing serious happened, just a few scratches on my helmet. The Cold War Museum was a really interesting place to visit. It's built inside the former Soviet missile base, with 4 underground silos that once housed SS-4 medium-range missiles, each armed with 2 megaton thermonuclear warheads. Inside, you can see how the base was guarded, how soldiers lived and explored propaganda, weapons and other relics from that time. Fascinating, but also a bit chilling. I ended the day at a campsite near Rūdninkai, right by a lake, a beautiful spot to spend the night. My last day in Lithuania started with rain, but luckily it stopped before I reached Kužiai, where I jumped on the TET route toward the Latvian border. Things got a bit more interesting on this part of the trail. usually don't mind trails like this, but with 27 kilos of luggage and 50/50 tires, I had to be really careful picking my lines not to get stuck. At this point, the trail was wrecked by heavy machinery, and I almost got stuck in the mud. After a bit of fight, I got myself out and found a detour. And as I reach the Latvian border, that's where I end this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one, where I explore Latvia. Ride safe and keep exploring.